GSCF.
Hi, everybody. This is take two of our. Hello, everybody. This is take two of our podcast about the legendary career and of Bob Stewart, the mastermind behind Pyramid, Password, and a bunch of other great game shows that have come out from that. But first, I like to introduce my guests for this evening. First of all, Elliot, welcome.
Good day.
Always a pleasure to have you on.
Of course.
And yeah. And next from the land down under, Carla, welcome.
Hello. Hi.
And all the way from Houston and all the way from Texas, we have Chuck.
Hey everyone, this is the big C, Charles Berman. Thank you so much, Scott, for having me on the podcast, brother.
Always a pleasure. Now, first we have some news to discuss, and quite frankly, as you know, last week was quite of a doozy on Jeopardy and everything on Monday. So we'll start with that, with the leak of James losing on that. So, Elliot, now this was covered in with. It came up on I'm sure it came up on everyone's Facebook feed, right?
Everybody had it, yeah.
Yeah. So Elliot once again has his James's spreadsheet up there.
The history of James.
The history of James in 33 episodes. No, but
Start off with 43,000. I'm eager. A good night start. 43,000. Good.
Well, hold on. I want to ask you about this. So, as we know from that, the backlash that Harry Freeman has gotten from that and everything with, some CBS, according to what we have seen, some CBS affiliates have showed the episode when they weren't supposed to, like on a Saturday. From everything.
Ooh.
That's not cool.
Yeah, but we do know, and this is going back to when Ken was on. We do know that when Ken lost, an audience member leaked that. But here, we actually had video footage of James losing on Jeopardy.
That's not nice.
No, it isn't. So, Elliot, what would you do in that situation? You're Harry Friedman. You find that this was leaked and it was aired when it wasn't supposed to. What do you do to those CBS affiliates or the affiliates that are showing Jeopardy?
Well, I'd probably cancel their contract. Give a different affiliate the chance to have it. I would not renew their if they have to. If they're under contractual obligation to have so many years worth at the end of that contract, it's gone. I would not let them renew it.
Now,
that's the only thing you really could do legally.
Right now, according to Dave, and Dave's not feeling well, so that's why he's not with us today. So, according to Dave, Harry is kind of on treacherous grounds with this. I can't really get into details about it, but this was leaked when this leak happened. It was covered in the New York Times and it was covered in the Daily News and everything. And even I'm hearing in the poker room that
Post.
And the Post, yep, and
Quite
the good old Washington. Yeah. Now,
any other newspapers besides those?
Well, those are the ones we know about.
And of course the J Archives, which archived the episode. So
yeah, they even put it up early.
Yeah,
before 7 o'clock.
Right.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, what? Other than that, we know that one of the stations leaked it in Alabama, I think it was. Do you think that person should be? What do you think should happen to the person that information that leaked that episode?
Well, only the contestants are contractually obligated to be quiet. Everyone else is just told to be quiet. So there's no legal action they could really take against any person leaking it. However, the stations themselves that actually did do the leaking, that actually leak it, he has to all he can do is just not renew their contract. There's no legal action. They weren't obligated to leak it, except the fact that they did air the episode out of too early. So then that was not part of the contract. Technically, that was a breach of contract. If that's in there, that they cannot air the episode early, that is a breach of contract. They can cancel the contract right away.
Right.
But you have to check legal on that one.
Right. Do you see that the networks are that would have to pay a fine to Sony for that?
It's whatever's written in the contract. I'm not an expert on their contract. I did not read their contract. You'd have to check them. Right. I couldn't tell you. It's up to them. You have to check with legal on that one.
Okay. So, all right. No problem on that one. You guys all agree with that and everything?
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right. Well, also,
do you want Bill in the podcast?
Bill Davis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill can come in as well. Bill's always welcome.
All right. Hold on. I'll give him the link.
All right. So, moving on, while Elliot's getting in our good friend Bill Davis, who has to boot up his Commodore 64.
No, wait a minute. There's his Packard Bell computer.
Wait. Simmer down. Because, this is going to be a topic for another podcast coming up in the future. On the future, the state of game shows. But what we're seeing is what old is new again. And premiering this week on ABC's Summer of Fun are two classic game shows that all of us here know and love and probably cherish a lot. And one of them is Card Sharks. And the other one is Press Your Luck.
Absolutely.
And before we get to that, let's welcome Bill Davis to the podcast. Bill, welcome.
Bill, we cannot hear you.
Bill's having mic trouble, so we'll get to him in just a We'll get back to him in just a second. He probably has to get his microphone turned on. But so, Elliot, we'll start with you on this one again. We know that all of us here are majority fans of Press Your Luck. How do you feel about Press Your Luck coming back to TV?
I love it. I've been waiting for years for the thing to come back, and I'm so glad it's here.
And as you can see, Elliot does what he does best. That's a slide from one of the newer squares from the show. So, and that's his little pet project that he has there.
Yep.
Elliot likes to make slides and everything for the expert edition. It's out there on the interwebs, so we're not gonna post the link to
as they say in college, we will leave that as an exercise to the viewer. I'm gonna mute myself for a second. I got my phone ringing.
All right.
Uh-oh.
So, Chuck, we'll go to you. How do you feel about about Press Your Luck coming back? The game show with big bucks and no whammies.
OMG. I'm so excited for it. Me and Cherish already set our DVR for it for Wednesday night. This could be so good. Watching the whammies, kicking butt on the contestants again.
Hopefully they've unleashed the whammies from Senior Sinai.
Yeah, whoa. Yeah. Better call Cedar Sinai. We'll be right there.
Okay, I'm back.
All right, welcome back. So, Elliot, I'll ask you this. How do you feel about Press Your Luck coming back and now being a $1 million game show?
Oh, great idea. You need to have that extra bonus round in there, because if a lot of games on Press Your Luck, you end up with only a couple $1,000s, and that would really not go well for late night primetime TV here. You need to have some money in there. So the bonus round does give that extra guarantee that there is something there's something big gonna happen.
Right. Will the contestants win $1 million? Will they walk away with ABC Network? There's only one person that would know that, and that's Michael Larson.
Right.
The Press Your Luck king.
Watching from up above.
Right.
Yep.
Well,
No
we
patterns
know
this time, though. We
do know that he's up there with Peter and Bill Mitchell, the original producer.
Roddy too.
And Rod, yeah, the whole gang, the whole crew's up there and everything, probably watching down on this. Now,
what about Jim Peck?
But He'll have to give him a second chance.
Yep.
All right. So, in regards with this, we got Priscilla coming back. We also have Card Sharks coming back.
Yes, we do.
So, Elliot, were you? And Bill's back again. Bill, can you hear
Yeah.
us?
We hear you. Nope. Bill is quiet, and
All right, we'll just move on. So, Elliot, we'll go to you. We acknowledge that you're here, Bill. I know you're having technical issues on your side with all of that, and he tells us he's working on that.
trying
So, so Elliot, question to you: were you a fan of Card Sharks?
I liked it. Yes. Well, not as much as Press Your Luck, of course, but still,
Right.
Great show.
Hence, by his icon down there is actually one of his custom slides that he has made for Expert Edition.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy $42 slide.
Yes. So, are you looking forward to seeing how the newer version of Card Sharks is played?
Yes, I am. I'm not really sure about the way they're going to do the regular game. They say 5 questions, 10 cards in the row. And the regular game of Card Sharks when it was back in the 70s, it would have 10 to 12 questions. If you only got 5 questions in this game, how are you going to kill all that time?
They'll probably make it suspenseful. Well,
Yeah.
we won't know until we actually see it, but we've been reading by what we've read from how they're going to do the show. We won't know until actually after it airs on Wednesday night, and then we'll get back to all of you and give all of your thought and we will give you all thoughts and take on the show.
Absolutely.
And everything. So, Carla, question to you.
Yeah.
Were you a fan of Card Sharks or down there in Australia, were you a fan of Play Your Cards Right?
I only saw a few of them with Ugly Dave Gray, and I've seen Press Your Luck. I like both of them too.
Yeah, we do know that Press Your Luck has aired in the land down under, and even for your version, were you a fan? Are you a fan of the show in general?
Yes, I was. But the only way you could win the card is if you won 5 games in a row.
That's reasonable. I mean, you're playing for much lower stakes down there. I mean, it's not as big as how we have it here in the States,
It was
but
still fun to play.
right,
There's
and it's
2
all
episodes lurking out on YouTube if you want to watch them.
yep. And Chuck. All right, for some reason, Chuck has
His mic off.
Mic mute.
Yep.
All
right.
Bill?
I'm here. I'm sorry.
All right. Chuck. So, question to you: were you a fan
Yes.
of Card? Were you a fan of Card Sharks?
Yes, I watched it on GSN, but I never caught it during its original run though.
Right.
It's a great show,
And-
don't get me wrong.
Are you looking forward to seeing how the new one airs?
Yep, and I agree with Elliot. I don't know how they're gonna kill it in all that amount of time.
Right. And let's welcome Bill Davis to the podcast.
I
Bill,
made
welcome.
it. I forgot
Yes.
to turn something off. That's the problem.
Oh.
Yeah, your mic.
Bill,
All right, guys. Remember, this is only a 90-minute show here.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I'll get out of the way.
no,
Bill,
No,
you
you-
say it.
Bill. I'm trying to keep everyone in line here. So, Bill, my question to you: are you looking forward to Wednesday night with the return of Card Sharks and Press Your Luck to TV to ABC Summer Fun?
Hey, I didn't know that Card Sharks was coming back, but B, I have seen the promo for Pressure Luck.
Yeah, they're
Are you-
all over the
It
place.
does look interesting.
Yes.
Friday night they did do their kickoff ahead of time with 3 of the shows like they did last year.
Right.
But
Pure-
the actual series, the actual runs start tonight.
so it's Pyramid, Match Game.
Actually, Match Game is on Wednesday nights now.
Yeah,
It's Celebrity Family Feud, then Pyramid, then To Tell the Truth.
that's
Yep.
right.
Would the real Bill Davis please stand up?
Sorry, I'm sitting down right now.
It's
All right,
all right, Bill.
You should feel honored. Old Nine Toes is here.
Oh
I
yes.
lost one
All right,
2 weeks
all right.
ago.
Yeah, that's another here nor now, Bill. But we're
Yeah.
glad that you're still able to join us and
All right.
everything.
Now,
So
I'll just go mute and let you guys talk
No,
for
no,
a
no.
while.
Now stay well.
No,
Stay
no,
well.
No, you're okay.
Bill, you are
Okay.
more than what, because we're talking about a subject you probably seem to know that you'd probably know a lot about. We're talking about the games of. Can I get a drum roll, please? We're talking about Bob Stewart tonight, Bill.
Oh, well, yeah, I was around for that.
So
I was around when Bob Stewart was still working for Goods and Todd.
right. Well, we do know. So we'll start with that then. We do know that legendary game show producer Bob Stewart created a couple game shows under Mark Goodson. He created the original run of Price is Right, which is actually going to be reseen with Bill Collin on Buzzer's 4th anniversary birthday this month.
Which is gonna be really exciting. I can't wait for that.
Yep.
Now, if I can only get it here.
Well, Bill, those always Pluto TV, Bill. Those always Pluto
That's
TV.
true. I do have access.
And
to
also
that.
also on the Buzzer website too.
Buzzer website, you can stream it.
Yep. So
Okay, I'll remember those.
yeah. And yeah, if you guys want to catch a lot of these classic vintage game shows that we're talking about, Buzzer is celebrating their 4th anniversary this year. You can go to buzzertv.com and click the watch live feed. Check your local TV listings. Or
My
if you have
nephew was my nephew was a lucky son of a bitch. He lives in Detroit, named God.
And if you have a mobile or streaming device like the PlayStation Network or on your phone, you can download the Pluto TV app, and it's channel 516, I believe, on that. So you can watch.
And it's also in the Star app as well.
Actually,
Well-
you can get it as an add-on to some of the browsers too,
Right.
like
Well-
Chrome.
Across 3 miles just to see the transmitter.
Right. All right. So now that we got the plugs out of the way with all of that and everything, so Bob Stewart, we know he created the original run of The Price is Right. He created Password, and he also came up with, I think, the original idea for To Tell the Truth. So let's start with the longest running game show in TV history. Let's start with The Price is Right and everything.
And
So-
I think you should add one more to there, if I remember correctly, and that's I've Got a Secret.
Oh, it's
And
Sister
also
Show.
Pyramid as well.
Well,
Oh my God.
that was
Pyramid
after
was his first one.
as
alone.
far as solo when he went solo when he left the company. So now,
But
now
To Tell the Truth started in '56.
so let's start with probably everyone's favorite game, Password, and everything. Password is game show talking fun.
Yep.
That's a
Only
phrase.
on YouTube.
The password is shut up your mouth. You're told
Hey,
to.
guys.
So we'll start with Password being probably one of the most popular game shows on the. Bill, what do you remember about Password and everything?
Oh, I remember quite a bit about it.
Now we're talking the original Password, not Plus and Super. We're talking classic Password.
Well, I have quite a few of the episodes on tape back when they were running it on Game Show was running it on black and white overnight over a decade ago.
on the Steve Harvey network now.
Chuck. So
Never mind.
Bill, out of all the guests that appeared on Password, do you have a favorite guest that was always a good player on that show?
What, besides Betty White?
Besides Betty White, yes. Besides,
I'd say it's a toss-up between Carol Burnett and Elizabeth Montgomery.
Yes, they were both good.
yes.
And the two of them were paired up against each other in one of the tournaments.
Right. Wasn't that the Masters tournament though?
No, that was still in the original run.
Right. No, I'm thinking the Masters tournament that Dawson won.
Richard
No.
Dawson?
This was back when it was still the two of them and contestants coming in to play their
Right.
way through the ladder.
Right. So we'll go to you, Elliot. Your thoughts on Password and everything.
Not really much to say about it. It's a good show, and it has staying power, and they keep on bringing it back. They had that $1 million password, but I didn't like the format of that one. But the original one,
It didn't last long.
yeah, the original one, it really lasted a long time, and it's a good show. And they kept on adding to it. They added the plus to it.
Mhm. And the only thing there was Betty White was the only one who made 2 appearances.
How is that?
Made 2 what?
She made 2 appearances on $1 Million Password. She was on the show for 2 different episodes.
Oh.
All right. So, Elliot, do you have a outside of Betty White? Do you have a favorite guest or guest that was?
Jamie Farr is also a good player. Bill took Carol Burnett. I was going to say that one, but Jamie Farr was. I don't know if he was on the original Password, but I know in Password Plus, he was really
there
good.
are a lot of them that were good. They were on there for 10, 12, 14 years.
I got a question.
Knocked up by the court trials over on the other networks.
Right.
I've got a question about that actually.
Yes.
Was Kitty Carlisle was a Kitty Carlisle contestant on Password?
No, Kitty Carlisle.
She might have been a celebrity. Arlene Francis was a celebrity.
Right. But Arlene Francis was mainly known for What's My Line?
And Kitty Carlisle was for To Tell the Truth.
Right. And we can't forget if we're talking. Well, we'll get to those in just a second as well. Carla.
Yeah.
Now we know you're down there in the land, Anna. With YouTube and everything, have you been able to see any of the classic episodes of Password?
Yeah. I watched one with the very ones like the 60s from Ellen Ludden. I watched one with Irene Ryan, who played Granny in the Beverly Hillbillies.
Right.
Yeah,
I will.
I saw that one.
Played against Johnny Carson, I think it was.
Right.
And Donna Douglas was a special appearance in the first game.
Right. And I will say this also for the record. My favorite one, and I thought this was very funny too, when they had on Jack Benny.
Jack Benny, Jack Parr, the one who kept saying the word.
Right. Oh yeah. Well, and then of course for Jack Benny, he got the word miser, and he gives the perfect clue. He says me.
Yes.
Yeah. And you never knew what was going to happen with those words, because that one with Irene Ryan, at one point they had the word itch, and then a few words along, and they gave tickle for one of the clues. A few words further down came up tickle, and they gave itch for the clue.
Yeah. So now
Frank Wayne had a way of doing that.
Right. Now we all know that Password, throughout its many incarnations up until Plus, was, of course, the great Alan Ludden.
And he passed, God rest him.
Yeah.
God rest his soul.
Now with Alan Ludden as host, because we know he was just coming off the GE College Bowl when he did Password, do you think that they made the right choice of getting Alan Ludden to host Password?
I think so. And Robert Earl replaced Alan Ludden on the College Bowl after that.
Right. Elliot.
Yeah.
On you, do you think that Alan Ludden was a great choice for Password?
Oh, absolutely. He ran the game well.
Right.
One more little piece of trivia there. Did you guys know that College Bowl actually started on the radio?
Yeah, I did.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It did. and they did it by doing hookups between the two universities.
Wow.
Timeout. No way.
Yes, they did.
Okay,
So
let's
now,
go.
because we got a lot to cover
We
here
gotta
as
get
well.
going here, and we're short on time. Go, Scott.
Yeah. Now, all right. So let's move on to probably everyone's other favorite game show, the one that's been on TV the longest, The Price is Right.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Now, the original Price is Right. Bill, you probably we'll let you give the rundown for the original Price is Right and how that ran.
Well, of course, we had Bill Cullen hosting and Don Pardo announcing. And then there were a few models, and once in a while, Bill would get a little frisky and go over and try to pick one of them. But it was,
I don't think Ann would appreciate that.
well, it was just whatever. But yeah, they would do a series of items up for bid. Some of them were like one bids, and then there were times where they just would do 2, 3, 4 rounds until the time signal went off, and then they had one last chance to make a final bid. They could freeze at any time and stay where they could bid below somebody else.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yes, they could, because I've seen it. I've got on the Price is Right box set I got. There were some episodes on there, and they did that. And some of the games, after they won the prize, they found a bell went off, and there was a bonus prize to it, or a bonus game attached to it.
Dale, surprise goes with it.
Yeah, well, one of them I remember was they were given a board with a bunch of latitudes and longitudes for different places around, and they had to choose which one they wanted. And the poor folks, they ended up with one of the steam baths in New York.
Wow. Now, in that case, they did have. Now, I remember correctly. Now, with the call-in version, they actually did have returning champions for that one.
Yep.
Yes, they did.
Yep.
They also had the home viewer showcases on it frequently. And in fact, the last episode of the nighttime show, when they knew they were going off the air, the next daytime show, the final champion from the nighttime show joined the daytime champion, both on the same panel.
Wow.
Oh wow! And it was a panel of 4 people still, and and if I remember correctly from looking at the pictures here on the game show wiki page for it, it was the player who had the most money at the end of the game.
Exactly. And the prizes were included as part of the money.
Oh wow! Now, originally the game show was actually called The Auctioneer when Bob Stewart pitched it to Mark Goodson and Bill Todman.
I'm not all familiar with that, but I know it was not unusual for somebody to win 5 digits, over $10,000, especially when they were giving away cars, occasionally a boat, a house.
Did they ever give away trips?
Yeah, they did.
Of course. But they would even give away a house now and then.
Oh, wow.
If you have 5 of them, you get a hotel.
Oh, well, you want a better chance, go to Dream House. Win 7 times, you will get the house.
Right. But now, we all know that the original Price is Right was hosted by the game show's legendary host,
Bill Cullen.
Uh-huh.
Now, I will say this for the record. Drew Carey looks like a young Bill Cullen, in a way.
And one thing, too, I want to add here.
Yes.
Whenever it was possible throughout his whole career, Don Pardo was his sidekick.
Oh wow.
All on every show Bill did, Don was the announcer, except for a couple of rare occasions, like when they moved Price is Right to ABC, and Don
Right.
Pardo couldn't go with him for contractual obligations
Right. Now
because he was
was
an
it
NBC staff announcer.
customary for Bill? I know when Bill came out, he always made sure that he thanked Don Pardo for
As
you know he
far as
always
I know, yes, he did. Just like, well, I know when they syndicated Concentration, Jack Nars would do the same thing with Johnny Olson.
right. And we all love Johnny Olson too. Johnny Olson was like
Oh,
the big guy. And Johnny, Gene Wood,
mhm.
and Don Pardo with the big, and Jack Clark also too.
I've got the Johnny Olson book here that Randy West wrote.
Right.
And did you know Bob Barker didn't know who in the heck Johnny Olson was until his mother introduced the two of them because his mother knew him
Oh wow.
because before that, one of the things they did, he and his wife did the warm-ups for Jackie Gleason.
Oh wow.
And they did radio shows, and including they were doing syndicated versions. But they record on discs and ship to different stations in the Minnesota area and stuff. That's how they got started.
Cool.
I'm looking at the list for the sub hosts between 56 to 65. That had a good run, 1956 to 1965.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
I'm
there
looking
was
I'm
some-
looking at the list here. You had Merv Griffin, Don Pardo, sub host, Jack Nars, Robert
Oh.
Q. Lewis.
Oh yeah,
Bob-
Robert Q guested in on several other Goodson Todman shows too.
Don't forget Arlene
John-
The
Francis.
name's the same.
Johnny Gilbert.
Oh yeah,
Johnny Gilbert. Wow.
Johnny
Johnny
Gilbert also hosted what was it? Something music bingo or something like that. He actually hosted one show.
Wow.
And of course Jack Clark, which we were just
That-
talking about.
Hey, don't forget Arlene
Oh.
Francis hosted one episode.
And
for a
Jack
Oh yeah,
Clark-
yep. Arlene Francis is up here too.
Jack Clark was Alan Ludden's fill-in when Alan went on vacation.
For
wow.
Password.
Oh wow.
Bob Kennedy would be the substitute announcer. And
Wow.
Bob Kennedy also did a number of game shows.
Ooh.
Oh wow. But we'll save that for another topic.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't help but showing my age.
No,
That's
Bill.
all right.
Bill,
Oh, I
we're
like
talking we're talking
I
about
know. I'm just kidding now.
right.
I've been there. Most of you probably haven't,
Right.
except by film and videotape.
All right, here we go.
All right. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm just looking at something here.
Mm-hmm.
Now we get to
Uh-huh.
to tell the truth.
Ooh.
The other great game show. Now, when To Tell the Truth happened, Bill, do you mind if I tell the story?
Go ahead.
So when Bob Stewart pitched To Tell the Truth to Mark Goodson and Bill Todman, he brought in three people and he said, one of these people fought in World War II. It's your job to find them, and brought three people in. He had them question everybody, and when they all got stumped and they couldn't find out who the actual person was, they said, book it, it's going on air and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the old
Wait.
saying for to tell the truth was?
Would the real Bill Davis please stand up?
Yeah. Now, here's another little one you may or may not have been aware of.
Yeah,
They
go on,
did
Bill.
a pilot for it,
Called
hosted by Mike
Wallace.
Wallace.
Right. And that pilot was called Nothing But the Truth.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Right.
And
Was it
then
ever
Bud
aired on
Collyer
Buzzer
came
Lost
in,
and Found?
Yes, it was.
and Bud
Yes, it
was.
Collyer was hosting both that and Beat the Clock.
Right. Got to
And
give it
Beat
up
the
to...
Clock was another Goodson Todman.
Right, but that wasn't created by Bob Stewart.
No.
And that
was it created by?
had one of the first female
Goodson and
producers.
Todman.
Now, I'm now looking at the list here of hosts, and we've got a long list of hosts here. So I'm going to run down the list of hosts. Chime in. Let me know your thoughts on this. We'll start with Bud Collyer, the original host.
Oh, definitely. He was a priest in his off time. Not to mention the voice of Superman on the radio.
Ooh.
And he was a busy radio guy. He was running up down the halls all day long.
Yeah, back then in the 50s, they were doing both radio and TV because TV was a new medium back then.
Well, he was doing Superman in the 40s.
Oh, wow.
My dad listened to that when he was a kid.
And his sister, June Clayton, I think it was also an actress.
So, Elliot,
I didn't know that.
All right, moving. I'm gonna move this along here because we got a lot more Bob Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Elliot, your thoughts on the original host? Elliot.
I think he might have muted himself.
All right, so we'll move on down the line here. So of course we know Mark Goodson filled in a couple times.
And,
That was an Alex Trebek version.
No, he filled in when Bud went on vacation.
Yep, he subbed in 1965, 67, 91. Looking at this, the 91.
And Mark Goodson did fill in towards a couple of times toward the end of Bud's run.
Right. And to tell the truth on this, was Mark Goodson's favorite game show.
He did like it.
At least until Family Feud came along. Neither here nor there. He heard the music. It was one of the music cuts for The Price is Right. He heard that and says, "Damn it, we gotta make a game around that."
I thought it was because of the end game from Family Feud.
Well, I don't know if that had anything to do with it. It may have had part of it to do with it, but he heard that music cue and he says, "That's perfect for a new game."
And the fans loved it.
All the hillbilly music.
Yeah, I want to make sure Elliot has a word in here. Elliot. Yep. Elliot, if you're still here, your thoughts on To Tell the Truth.
He might have gone to the bathroom.
Doing
a Kyle Wheeler.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at the so then we get around to Pyramid. Now the story behind Pyramid is that he actually pitched Pyramid to Mark Goodson and Bill Todman, and they turned it down.
Oh,
yeah, it took a while to sell that one. Took a while to sell that one.
Right. So he left in '65, and this is all up on his interview on the Emmy archives as well. Now we get into the Bob Stewart production game shows, and we get into probably one of the most funny game shows that he's created with host Bill Cohen, I guess.
Can we back up for just a second to the Pyramid?
Yes, we can, Bill. Go ahead. Well,
one
unknown
fact is, just before they were ready to start taping, Bob Stewart walked into the studio, saw the original board with 10 squares in the triangle, and he grabbed a hammer and nails and some board, and he boarded up the bottom row of 4.
Right.
And
Because
that's why it was only 6 after that.
right, because no one could do 10 in 60 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk about Pyramid when we get to that.
Yeah,
So-
okay, let's go to our game.
I'm
Yeah.
getting ahead.
Yeah. But no, it's a good story to tell about that. Now,
Yeah.
1964, we get to I Guess.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on I Guess and everything?
Interesting. I liked it.
It was more of a mental memory game show. Now, to be
It
honest
was.
here, yep. Now to say this and everything, especially with with our group and everything, we have actually done I Guess. We actually about 2 years ago, me, Paul, and Anthony. Paul and Anthony are down in Atlantic City right now with Anime Next,
Mhm.
and we wish them a safe travel back home, back up
Prayers.
to New York. Yep. So we did I Guess at that, and to tell you the truth, we had it. They had a fun time with it too.
Oh, yeah.
We had a fun time with that game doing I Guess and everything.
And is that video on the YouTube channel?
No, it's not for some reason, but
Mm.
we were just
Oh.
we were doing that to test. We were testing, I guess, at the time. Now, I guess very plain familiar on how that show worked and everything. It was we show you 8 answers and everything. We're going to ask you a question, and it was your job to memorize where the answers were.
And in the middle 9th square, it just said, I guess.
Right. And if you believe the answer was not on the board, you would say, I guess, and then give the answer. There was
Sounds like
always.
somebody with a game that somebody stole a number of years later
Excuse
called
me.
Quicksilver.
Well, we can say Quicksilver is the predecessor.
How long was
Successor.
I Guess on TV?
Seasons, I believe.
Most of Bill's shows did run for a few years.
Wow.
I think, well, we'll skip over this aside from the fact that I think
3 years.
the exception to that was winning, it was Missing Links or whatever it was, the one with the spelling.
Oh, Winning Streak.
Yeah, that was it. Because that really never took off.
Right. No, I guess lasted from 1966, from 66 to 69.
Mm-hmm.
That number.
Mhm.
And that was back in the days when they ran game shows in the afternoon instead of soap operas.
Right.
Yep.
And it was such a simple concept, too.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an amazing game show from what I saw on YouTube.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we probably get to,
And you kept
What?
coming up with good ideas like that for a while.
Right. So we get
did.
to probably one of his other favorite game shows, 3 on a Match.
3 on a match, which was much the same.
Right. Now, our good friend Greg has done 3 on a Match at a couple local anime conventions. So if you guys want to check out that, be sure to go and go over to Grego's game shows on his YouTube channel. And I'm sure his 3 on a Match episodes are still out there, but he has done it, and he's done the show justice with it. He did a great job with it in some cases.
And I
With
have
that.
seen several episodes on YouTube.
Right. And hosted by the legendary Bill Collyer. Now,
Of course. And sometimes Bill would poke fun at Bob Stewart right during the show.
right. Now we probably get to the meat and potatoes of this, where this is probably going to be, we're probably going to have a nice big discussion to close out the rest of this. And we're going to probably talk about, well, before we get to Pyramid, we're going to save Pyramid for the end.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Now, of course, he had some other game shows as well. but probably the one he is most famous for outside of Pyramid is it's the game show where one word leads to another, and the right combination of words could lead you to win over 50.
Oh, yeah. I know where you're going. Go
Right.
ahead.
Nope. It's the new. I'm leading it in for you, Bill.
Oh, chain reaction.
Right. Chain Reaction, hosted by two great game show hosts, Bill Cullen and a former listener and dear friend of the Game Show Talkin' Fun podcast, the late Jeff Edwards.
Yep, and he
Who also
primarily did
hosted
the
Starcade.
Canadian.
Right. But
Jeff did the Canadian version,
right.
except the first season when they insist a Canadian be the host.
Right. So we know how Bill did Chain Reaction and everything, but what were your thoughts on Jeff Edwards hosting?
He was pretty good. The last season they did the $40,000 tournament.
Right.
He was good. He had a great rapport with his announcer too.
Right. I always liked that chain that they did at the end where he would come out and give Jeff a chain and everything.
Oh, and the last one was Chain Gang Goodbye.
Now, Bob, no, this wasn't the only game show that Jeff Edwards hosted with Bob Stewart. He hosted probably another game show that I can say I like because it was they revamped it later on in the early 2000s on GSN. And it's a game show where one of these 15 contestants is holding a secret riddle. And you never know when somebody in the game is going to stand up and yell.
Jackpot!
Right.
And that one sadly only ran for like a little over a year.
Right. But I think that one was more due to NBC messing with the form.
Blame that one
that show was on NBC?
What's her name who was in charge of programming?
Lynn Boyle or Lynn something?
Lynn Boland. Lynn Boland.
Right.
She also is the one that messed up Concentration and got that off the air.
Didn't she mess up the Jeopardy format too?
I think she may have because that one went off the air soon after too.
Right.
Oh.
All the one with Art Fleming, right?
Now we're not here to pass judgment on Lynn and everything. So, you know,
let's just say she devised one game show of her own, and it bombed faster than theirs did.
What game show? Whoa! What game show was that? Which
Thumpers.
one? The one hosted by Alan Ludden?
Yeah, and the last show was New Year's Eve.
Now that aired alongside with the 50,000 grand slam.
50 grand slam.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was I think I remember. I want to say Tom Kennedy.
Yeah, Tom Kennedy did that one, and Alan Ludden did Stumpers.
Yeah.
Now, also here we have Winning Streak. That was the spelling game.
Yeah, which went through several format changes.
I don't think I've ever seen an episode of that.
It's all right. Think of how we do linkage.
Yeah.
Think
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
I get it now. Wait a minute, I get it now.
You pick first. You pick one of the numbers from the top of the board, the top row, and then you start picking the other letters from below. And every time you add another letter, like linkage, you have to make a word using all the letters.
Well, now I get it.
Right.
It's basically linkage.
Yep. So now also after Winning Streak goes off, he creates blankety blanks.
Another disaster.
Not the mistaken Australia's match game, blankety.
Right.
I have seen the pilot. Bill Shatner was one of the celebrities. Need I say more?
Right.
I watched that
And
one.
then we get into 1977 after blankety blanks. Now some of these, you know, we don't have concrete videos of these, so I am just going by the wiki page. Next
And
we
I'd
have
like to add that Bill Shatner seemed to be a popular, favorite celebrity of Bob Stewart's because he was cheap. He kept losing the money.
oh, wait, didn't he break the set once on the $20,000 pyramid?
Yeah, they even had him. They even had him play against himself on the pyramid the one time for the bonus.
Are you serious?
Yep,
Yes, it's
that
on
clip is
audio.
no, the clip is actually up there on YouTube.
Also, here's some. Did you know that for 1 week they had Leonard Nimoy against Bill Shatner?
Oh, I know.
Time out.
So
Time out.
Kirk and Spock.
They battled for the whole week.
Yep.
Just
Nice.
like in that episode of Star Trek, which everybody knows.
Right.
Now,
Well,
here's something else.
Keep that.
You know why they changed the tiebreakers to 30 seconds?
Why?
Why? Because Bill kept tying.
Well, actually, that happened once, but there was one on July 4th. They played 4 tiebreakers.
What?
And before they started the 4th one, Dick says, if we're still tied after this one, we're just going to clear the board and start over.
Whoa.
Oh boy.
Is that clip on YouTube at all?
Before that, they would just add on the additional tiebreaker rounds to the actual score. Like that's how Shatner ended up with 32 points at one time.
Wow.
Jeez.
Now that was when the shows straddled, I believe, right?
Yeah, that was ABC.
Yeah.
And
Now-
when does
Hold on. Let me go through the list, Chuck. Now we get to 1977. Well, like I said, we're going to talk about Pyramid in a few here, but I got a
Okay.
list to get through. Next, we have 1977, Shoot for the Stars.
Ooh.
Another one that didn't do very well. Poor Jeff Edwards.
Yep.
never heard of it?
And then,
It was
and then
more
we
like
get,
Shoot at the Stars.
and then we get to 1978, and now it's also the name of a pricing game on The Price is Right.
Let me guess. Pass the buck.
Right. Hosted
Oh,
by
my
Bill
God.
Cullen.
And that one didn't do very well either. And I actually have a couple of pictures from that.
Nice.
They could've
Now-
Publicity
figured-
pictures.
Yeah. Now we get to 1983, and this was a game show that I did. Unfortunately, due to how bad the play was, we cannot show it.
Oh,
So
we should be grateful.
well, we got
Elliott's
Elliot
back.
back. Yep. Elliot, the name of the game is
Go!
right.
Okay. Yeah, that one
What
lasted
the-
about 13 weeks or something like that.
Yep.
The only
no,
thing that was
14
14
weeks.
it ended after the first week of 1984.
Right.
And the only really good thing it had going for it was if the winning team swept the board, swept it and won in 3 rounds, they got to play double bonus. 2 bonus rounds.
For Elliot, for how much?
$20,000.
But
And I saw
So,
some
Elliot,
of those where they had
Elliot,
they
well,
were
first
talking
of all,
in
Elliot, I
99.
want to welcome you back. So, Elliot, real quick, I want to get you up to speed. What were your thoughts on Chain Reaction, real quick?
Great show. I like the original. They kept on changing the way they scored the bonus round. Though they couldn't figure out how to
Exactly.
do it.
Now,
They did.
Now, what
Like
about the
3
version with-
times.
what about the version with Jeff?
I did not like that bonus round. It was too slow. He
Well-
just do just a slow game with him.
Now let's talk about the tournament then, the $40,000 Chain Reaction tournament.
I did not
When
see
they- But all right, So let me ask you this then, Harry. What were your thoughts as Jeff Edwards as a host for Chain Reaction?
I didn't think he did a good job. It was just he didn't there was no excitement in it. The business Bill Collins with the stars, you need the celebrities in there. They made the excitement. They made it a little bit more exciting.
What do you expect from an old actor? He used to be on Petticoat Junction.
Oh wow! So, all right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this then. What were your thoughts on Jackpot?
I like Jackpot.
Right.
It was
Now
Yeah.
we're going to now in regards to this. Now, Bob Stewart's son, Sandy Stewart, was the creative idea behind Hollywood Showdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Todd Newton.
Yes. Now, what were
The
your
early
thoughts?
days of GSN.
Yes. Now, what were
And
your
then,
thoughts on that? Now here. Oh, let me ask you this real quick before we get into the major discussion.
Yeah.
So, with Hollywood Showdown, did you like that? Did you like the format of the show? And do you think Tom Kennedy was?
Todd Newton.
Todd Newton. Too many Todds in the business. And
Todd's the one that goes
Sounds like
behind
Todd
the
needs
set
too many
and
days.
plays his little word games before he plays Price is Right.
right. Now, Todd Newton, what were your thoughts of it? Did you like him as a host?
Oh yeah, he's a good host. You can't go wrong with him.
Right. All right. So now, before we get to Pyramid, the last one he created in 1986, Double Talk.
Oh yes,
Yes, she was a revival of Shoot for the Stars. That's what it was.
pretty much.
Oh.
And one of the last ones they had on there was Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Right. Real quick here.
What was the clue for it?
Well, I can't remember at this point, but one of them had Rocky Horror and the other one had Picture Show.
Right. So going through this before we get to talking about Pyramid here, I'm going to read this off. When he retired in the mid 80s, Stewart began writing down his career, and his son Sandy took over operations, with all shows after 1987 being known as under Bob and Sandy Stewart Productions. In 1990, the company was renamed Stewart Tele Enterprises. Bob Stewart would fully retire in 91 after the second run of the $100,000 pyramid was canceled. With
Somewhere
Sandy
in there was Basada Productions, which was all three of his sons were in that title.
Right. And then with Sandy taking up full operations, Sandy later produced some game shows on his own, including Your Number's Up.
Yep. Nipsey
Hosted-
Russell.
Yep.
Right. Which went up against the elder Bob Stewart's Pyramid. Remember this.
And it died.
Sports on Tap. Now I remember Sports on Tap on ESPN.
Yep. I used to watch it.
And of course,
It had the ladder format.
yeah, I like that. Yeah, the end game part. And of course, a game show that we never got to see the host.
Yes, Inquisitor.
Oh, yes.
Inquisition.
No.
And I have heard rumors that Bob Stewart himself was the Inquisitor.
Oh wow! But we'll never really know. We'll never know who the Inquisitor was.
Only the Shadow knows.
Or his sons.
Right. Well, no, Sandy Stewart's the only one that knows, and if with
And the Inquisitor knows.
yeah, and then we get to what we were just talking about, Hollywood Showdown. Now, here's one that may take everyone's surprise. Sandy Stewart created the Powerball Instant Millionaire game show hosted by Todd Newton.
Whoa, wait a minute. You're kidding me, Hale. You're kidding me, Scott.
I kid you not.
Not
No
surprised.
freaking way.
Goodson's son was behind a lot of the other lottery shows too.
Right. Now, I'm going to run down a list of a few of the pilots that were shot here. We have the $10,000 sweep, the $50,000 a minute Caught in the Act,
Oh,
Get
boy.
Rich Quick, Money in the Bank, The Riddlers, Twisters, which was hosted by everyone's favorite game show game show host, Jim Perry.
If I remember right, Riddler's David Letterman
Yes,
was
he was. He was
chosen as to audition for the host on that.
Yes, yeah, there's a pilot out. There is a pilot out on YouTube with him in it.
Right.
And
I think Cindy actually covered that on Game Show Garbage.
So that was actually on Game Show Garbage. Is that episode still on YouTube?
I think so. Yes.
Letterman did air it on his show once.
Right. Now we get to probably the meat and potatoes of this, and this is what we're going to close out the show with.
Throw it out.
Everyone's favorite game show from the upper.
And the song is called "Tuning Up."
Right. From the Upper West Side in Midtown Manhattan, it's time for the $100,000 pyramid.
Another little piece of trivia right here. When it first came on the air, did you know there were 8 items in each category, not 7?
Yes, I remember.
Whoa, 8 items in each category?
Yes, there are 8 items per category.
And as I recall, the only time anybody ever got 8 was they had a category that was all symbols and signs. So all they had to do was make the traffic symbol or what it was with their hands.
That is amazing right there.
Wow. And there's really nothing to say about Pyramid that really hasn't been said. I mean, it was hosted by a legendary host in the business.
America's oldest teenager.
Right.
No longer. He's gone to join the rest of them up there at the house.
This guy.
Right. And I mean, we've had a lot of good hosts for that. We've had Dick Clark, we've had Bill Cullen, we've had John Davidson,
and the stupid idea of doing double play, like the double with 2 categories that you got to get in 45 seconds.
What the heck was that?
One for each team, and they had to pick that one. They had 45 seconds, and it was an extremely hard category.
That was the Double Trouble.
Yeah.
And the most infamous one was hosted by Donny Osmond. Boo!
Hey, we're gonna keep things civil here.
Whatever. Give me Michael Strahan any day over that.
Michael Strahan and Dick Clark.
Now we all have to remember when Osmond did Pyramid for that week, he had on Clark and Betty.
Yes, he did.
Whoa! Time out.
See that version. Thank goodness. I think.
Now what? Now
I'll look for it.
Yeah. Now, GSN did a season for it too.
Yes, they did.
Well, yeah, and then to add insult to injury, when you got Mike Richards as the host.
Oh boy.
Yes, that Mike Richards.
The Mike Richards
who more recently hosted this other one, Divided.
Oh, I didn't like that one either.
Divided. No, I like the
2 seasons. I'll never know.
Yeah. No, I like Divided because it was a UK game show, but I like how they played it in the UK.
Mm-hmm. And there were times on there where everybody walked out with nothing because there's one headstrong idiot would ruin it for everybody.
Right.
OMG, are you kidding me?
No. There are at least 2 or 3 of them that I saw where everybody walked home with nothing because somebody would say, I'm just going to sit here and let the money run out.
There was one episode where one lady said, I'll take the sacrifice, I'll take C, you take B, you take A, let's go for it. Bang, they hit it. Like they wasted no time in doing it.
Right.
And then I think the least amount of money that ever got out The highest one got $18.
Yeah.
$18?
Yeah, and
Thanks.
the other two got less than that
Oh God.
because
So-
they decided at the last second they'd better hit the button.
Oh boy. Oh man.
Yep.
Anyway, let's get back to where
Pyramid.
we was.
Now, of course, there's a lot of things we can say about Pyramid, but what can we not say about the 20? Well, there's one thing that we always have to talk about when we talk about Pyramid, the record.
Oh yes, Billy Crystal. I'll bring that up.
Oh yeah,
We have to bring it up.
and
Yeah.
there were one or two
So-
others that were really close to that.
Yes.
MG McCormick in the $100,000 tournament.
And how many weeks did the tournament last for, Scott?
I
It was
don't
a week.
think it ever lasted much more than I think once it got to 6 days, but
Yeah.
I think that was it.
Oh wow. I wonder if they were going to try that on the new version that's on right now.
I doubt it.
No.
I doubt it. And the other thing I didn't like about Donnie's version, you only had 6 items in each category, not 7.
And to get into the tournament of champions, it was cut into the tournament. It was a weird structure. Now, up on our
Yeah.
screen here
Yeah.
from GSN when they aired, I think it was
Billy Conley, Billy
on.
Crystal.
right. So let me explain a little bit here. With it, so back when GSN had, I think it was Pyramid Thursdays.
Yeah, I remember seeing a couple,
Now-
3 others that were between
now-
30 and 40.
Right now, Billy Crystal holds the record for the
26.
fastest time up that.
Yep.
And this is pointed out in an episode of 25,000 when Tom Poston won nothing with his partners. Like Dick Clark said, Billy Crystal holds the record for the fastest time up the pyramid, and you hold the record for not winning a dime.
Good
Well,
God.
Bill Sandler didn't do so well either.
Right. But anyway, going on here.
Let's get
We
to
started
it
off
here.
at the 10,000. We got to 20, 25, and then in some networks it was known as the new 25 because they were still showing the Bill Cullen 25.
Actually,
And the
Bill
$50,000
Cullen
pyramid.
later became the 50.
Right. And that's when we introduced the tournament format.
Yeah, I think Billy Crystal quit.
So, Elliot, why don't you give us a little backstory about the about Billy Crystal and his infamous run up the pyramid?
Well, why don't I just roll that beautiful beam footage?
Good
Yep.
idea.
And
Here-
who-
here
Here it is.
all right.
Roll it, Duke.
Exercises.
To be or not to be?
Shakespeare, Hamlet.
Patton,
Generals,
Western.
Georgia.
8,
Numbers, figures.
monkeys,
Things in a barrel.
old flowers.
Wheel.
26 seconds.
Right.
And there
Well,
it is.
26
Nothing more to
seconds.
say.
Yeah. Now what were your thoughts on Billy Crystal as a guest player, as a guest on the pyramid?
Yeah.
The best there is.
Right.
The best there
Fabulous.
was?
Yeah.
Not Tom Punch.
Now we showed you the best of pyramid. Billy Crystal winning a dive. Do you think
You don't
we're gonna
have to have that clip of chat
Here it is.
crashing everything, do you?
Here we go.
Here it is.
All right, and this here is we've had the best, and now we have the
Worst.
Roll
The
that
word.
beautiful pyramid footage.
This is beautiful.
The solutions, the
The answer,
fractions,
the
numbers, fractions. 2 plus 2 equals 4.
the formula.
Okay, pass.
Next.
I am a special toy, and little girls love me and carry me around. That's how is an or a clam.
Things that grow in the sea crustaceans.
Pass.
What about turtles?
Okay. This is your bed.
Beep.
Yeah,
Oh my
well,
God.
right there. He might have got that one.
Oh, Tom Poston, you suck.
Chuck, we're not here to pass judgment on Tom Poston.
Yeah.
Beginning one. 2 plus 2 equals 4.
And she was the one.
Hold on.
Here we go.
Hold on.
Where have I gone wrong?
Hold on.
Oh, that is a record.
No.
I've never seen that.
We're proud to be a part of this. Your fault. But, well, I mean, Billy Crystal holds the record for going up there the quickest. You two hold the record for never getting a dime.
Whoa!
Yeah.
And that's Tom Poston.
Right. Now,
Ouch.
Tom Poston, in his right mind, was a good pyramid player. And, of course,
To tell the truth, Claire.
What was he
Right.
drinking and why wasn't he sharing?
now, of course, other great pyramid guests will include Vicki Lawrence, because we all know Dick always has to screw
Oh, the
something.
two of them were always going at each other. I
Right.
know.
Like in the one episode he's closing on, he says, and he calls Vicki Lawrence Carol.
Oh yes.
And of course,
Oh my God.
Nipsey Russell, Tony Randall, because he kept coming out with all these strange words.
Oh my gosh. You
What's the one?
serious?
Yep, Tony Randall was the one that said to Dick about not doing shit.
Well, Tony came out the one day and was started to talk about his own TV show, and he called it My Eponymous Show, because eponymous means mine.
But wasn't he doing the Odd Couple all the time?
I think it was. He was doing another one a bit later, but that didn't last very long.
Well, one of the best pyramid players, of course, Billy Crystal, Richard Klein.
Bill Cullen wasn't that bad either, really.
Right.
What about Dee Dee Khan from Shining Time Station?
Oh,
But
Yeah.
I must admit, I do like Bill Shatner giving clues.
yeah.
Now, Elliot, we gotta find real quick before we decide. We gotta find the William Shatner one.
Which William Shatner doing what?
Breaking the set.
William Shatner on Pyramid?
Trashing everything. Yeah. Oh,
That's a chance I'll have to take.
as long as we're on the topic of trashing, this is just off to the side. Doesn't mean a thing. The last episode of Rhyme or Reason, that's what the whole cast did. They trashed the set.
I doesn't really necessarily say he's breaking the set. You know what? I'll try. I'll take a look and I'll see if I can find it.
Well, I know there's something in there. One of them about where he's playing
Oh, here's a good one. Here's a good one. I got one.
Contestant. He plays as the celebrity and the contestant.
Yes, I have that one right up now. I have that one up right now.
And he's trying to make it, and he doesn't make it to the top.
Here it is. William Shatner can't win Pyramid by himself.
This is funny.
Oh!
Ran out on him.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Look up Elliot. Look up the one that it says William Shatner pyramid sportsmanship.
Oh, another one you ought to look for for the future is William Shatner on Blankety Blank. He was awful.
I watched it. Here we go.
And I mean the American version.
Yes, I know, Bill. I've seen it.
I've seen it, and Bill Cullen talks about his little gizmo here. It's got all these electronic coded cards,
I must admit, I
and he
didn't
doesn't
mind
know
it.
what the amounts are.
But I must admit, I didn't mind that myself.
But he couldn't do anything.
Okay, I think this might be it.
And he
Okay.
would repeat phrases for the run.
Let's see if I can-
Here we go.
All right.
Oh boy.
Roll it.
That's it. That's it. Here he goes. He blew that one, and that's it.
And that's as such as gamers call it rage quitting.
Yep.
Not exactly right.
And Dick's trying to stay as far away as he can, and he's got something there like a like an umbrella or whatever to hold him off.
Man,
Yeah, now that is being mad.
I guess he didn't hit. Guess he didn't hit warp 7.
He couldn't find the Warp 8 either.
Oh,
He ran out of dilithium crystals.
I'd say that Captain Picard would have beaten the hell out of him playing the game.
No, Captain Pike.
Well, that too. Even in his wheelchair.
Now, of course, you know, a lot of good other famous guests appeared on Pyramid as well. Like we said, Didi Khan, LeVar Burton. There's also LeVar Burton. Yep.
Is he the guy that did the Reading Rainbow?
Yes, he also was Geordi LaForge on Star Trek.
Right.
Adrian Barbeau.
Yep.
He was
Vicki
very
Lawrence, Vicki Lawrence, Nipsey Russell, the poet line of television.
And
Oh
Richard
yeah, and he always had a poem
boy.
because Dick always asked him for one.
There was an attempt at a pilot for the $1 Million Pyramid about a decade ago.
Right. And that one
That's
was
not
He
Yeah.
always
My
did a
brother
poem
actually
for
tried out
his
for
show
that.
too.
My brother actually tried out for the pilot.
Wow.
Interesting
And that-
story about that tryout.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay, Charles, mute yourself, okay? Thank you. But the interesting story about that pilot, my brother was doing it, and he was doing the bonus round. He got up to the top square. He got up the first 5. He's given the clues. There's one clue left. 6 seconds on the clock. This is his clue. Because you're an orange juice carton carrying redneck. What would that?
Whoops.
What would that
Things,
be?
as-
What would that be?
things associated with Jeff Foxworthy.
No, because you're an orange juice carton carrying redneck.
You're a redneck.
Why you concentrate?
Oh.
If you stare at the joke is if you stare at a carton of orange juice for 3 hours just because it says concentrate, you just might be a redneck. His partner got it. His partner got
it. Your brother had absolutely no chance.
But he
Got
said
it. He had 6 seconds. What are you gonna do in 6 seconds? Give the only clue you got. Give it all you got.
Yep.
A Hail Mary pass. That's what that was.
Yeah.
Oh.
So what happened?
They're the hypnotist.
Huh.
It was just a tryout for a pilot that never went. That never happened.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Get
Did you get
hypnotized.
now?
That
Here's
would
the
do
question.
it.
Now, all right. Here's the question about that. Did he get paid for doing the pilot?
He never went on. It was just a tryout. The pilot never happened.
Oh, okay.
If the pilot did happen. He wasn't on it.
Right.
It was just a tryout.
Yeah, you don't
But I
get
bet you he
paid.
had
Paid
fun.
for a tryout.
That's why
Now-
Maggie Brown did all those
Pilots.
all those pilots. She never got paid for any of those until she finally got on Pressure Luck as a real contestant.
Ooh.
And she was also on Wipeout too.
Yes, she was.
Wait a minute, she was on Wipeout?
And she was on a couple
Not the
others.
one. Not the one with the big balls.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the game show, the one that Scott tells us about all the time.
Yeah. Scott,
Well-
Which Wipeout? The one with Peter Tamarkin?
Yeah.
I thought that's what I thought.
Now, real quick before we close out with everything. So, guys, don't forget this Wednesday night on ABC Summer of Fun. Press Your Luck and Card Sharks are
And a
coming
special
back.
video on Tuesday at 10
Right.
p.m. Press your luck again.
Right.
Well,
So
actually, they were officially
tune in.
coming for the first time.
Right. So tune in on Wednesday for the premiere, Tuesday for the preview for it. Hopefully they become hopefully with this day and age, with game shows being made by the fans of game shows, Press Your Luck will have a nice long stay on ABC Summer Fun. And also CBS and NBC. Hopefully you guys can get back into the game show genre as well. We know that you're watching ABC with all of this, so we like to see we want to see what game shows you guys are going to come out with. And for everyone here, hey, if you like our video, if you like this podcast, if you like our videos when we go to the conventions and do a lot of these classic game shows, hey, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell to be notified of when new videos and when the podcast is up. Also, we love to have you join in for that.
Absolutely.
And
Exactly.
That bell?
There's the bell.
and remember, when you hear the bell,
It's time for a supermarket sweep.
yeah, but that's another topic for another podcast. But don't forget to click that bell and like and subscribe to us
That's
here
right. It's
on.
when you hear the beep.
Yeah. And don't forget to like and subscribe to us here on the YouTube page, Lost Silver Productions. Same over in the Facebook page. As we get closer to conventions and other new things that we're going to be doing, we will keep you posted. And hopefully this year we're able to bring back something that we've all missed during the summer and everything. Elliot, you know
what is that?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, one thing we would like to. Yep. Well, one thing that we would like to try to bring back, the Summer Olympics.
Oh, yeah. It's
game
been a
show
couple
summer.
Years since we lost Alan. We haven't done it since then.
Right.
Game show Summer Olympics.
We've always talked. We've always talked about it. We've always planned it, and
it almost always came down to me and Andy at the end.
Right. But hopefully this year we'll be able to do it and no Stump the Swab as well.
Stump the Swab, that was bad.
Yeah. We won't talk about that because I know that's something that's a kind of taboo on the podcast and everything.
And I know Schwab came originally, I believe, from ESPN.
Right. But anyway, until next time, Bill, thank you for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. I'll be back.
And Bill, you're always welcome back on the podcast. We know that you were part of the original crew.
Yeah, that's right. David and I go back a long ways.
Yeah. So David, we hope that
Alan was still here.
Yeah. And David, we hope to have you back next week.
Yeah.
Elliot, always a pleasure to have you and everything.
Good day and have a pleasant tomorrow.
Right. And Bill, I want to thank you for all your knowledge for helping us out with this episode.
Oh, you're welcome.
He was a big help.
I barely got into all of my knowledge, but
yeah,
that was enough for now.
Thanks, Bill, for helping us. Seriously.
Yep.
Yeah.
And from the land down under, Carla, always a pleasure to have you.
You're welcome.
And of course, our good friend Chuck. And until next time, I'm Scott Glodino for Game Show Talk and Fun, and we'll see you next time. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
As long as this game ain't Goldine